Had breakfast? Okay. So next 1.5 hours, I will discuss lot many things. Broadly, two things. One, how you should, or how you can crack this examination, and how we are going to help you do that, right? At Insights IAS. But I don't know. Some of you might have already watched some of my orientation videos. ಯಾರಾದರೂ ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ? Firstly, you know that there are 180 IAS vacancies every year, 200 IPS, and this year it was brought down to 180 IAS and 180 IPS. So IRS keeps changing. Sometimes it was low, less than 100, and sometimes it is 300. And then Indian Foreign Service around 40 to 45 vacancies. To get into these services, so every year we know that nearly 10 lakh people apply, and around 50% of them write the preliminary examination. So last year, out of around 5.5 lakh people who wrote prelims, 14,500 wrote mains examination, and out of 14,500, 2,700 odd people have been called for the personality test, that is interview. So currently interviews are in progress, so they are going on from December 8th. They started, and they will go on till February end. So the final result of Civil Services Examination 2025 is expected in the first week of March. It used to be in the month of May or June in past years, but this year, so they have expedited the process, right? So I don't know what is the urgency, but by March 1st, you will see, your toppers from this year, like All India Rank 1, front page, the Hindu newspaper, and if they are from Karnataka, so you see in Kannada newspapers in the front page. So this is a routine process that we have been witnessing year after year. So new toppers come, and there are people, unfortunately, out of 2,700 odd people who give interview, only 180 will get into IAS, right? Everyone will not get into the list. Around 1,000 odd people will get into the list. 1,700 will have to again write the examination. Some of them would have exhausted their attempts also, right? For some of them, it may be second, third, fourth attempt also. So the very nature of this competition is tough, grueling, not because you have to study so much, right? It is tough because you have to endure so much, the endurance. You have to endure so many setbacks, so many hardships, right? You have to, it tests the limits of your patience, this examination. And it also tests your mental toughness. Before coming inside, I was speaking to two of the core batch students, and they usually come and keep updating us about their progress in preparation. Core batch is where people who have completed the foundation course, or people who have given mains and interview in previous attempt, were not able to improve their scores. So we make them write answers once in 2 days. We make them give tests once in 2 days, and every week there is an ethics test, there is an essay test, and there are like hundreds of tests, thousands of answers they write, and nearly 40-50 essays they write. So that is the core batch. And so one was telling, like, the tricky part is the prelims. The difficult part of this examination is the prelims. And based on my experience and based on our observation, so all the experiences that we have gained by interacting with uh, hundreds of thousands of students, it all boils down to mind factors, right? Everything comes down to mind. So I was telling them, walk into the preliminary examination as if you walk into the insights classroom on the day where you want to give a mock test, right? So now what is the difference? Now let us say that today I am going to conduct mock test, right? Mock test, prelims GS1 mock test. Do you think they will lose sleep the previous night? Will they sleep soundly, or what do you think? Before the mock test, the previous night before the mock test, what will they do? They'll sleep. They'll revise, right? They will sleep. If at all they are not sleeping, not because of the mock test, maybe because of some other issues, right? Definitely not because of the mock test. So they will come, and when they walk inside, there won't be any anxiety, any kind of fear, right? They'll just take the question paper from there, they'll come sit, and then they will do their best. And in most of the mock tests, candidates who have good preparation, they score in the range of 110 to 120, or sometimes 130, 140 also, even if the question paper is difficult, right? So there is so much of accumulated knowledge, there is experience of solving such question papers. And in the mock test, they do score 110, 120, and in open mock test. So we also conduct all India step up mock tests. It is popular. So there also they do really well, even when it is conducted like in examination like condition. And the same people, when they go to actual preliminary examination, right, they find it very difficult to score above 90 or above 100, right? I was just telling them, now what is the difference, right? So here also you have to eliminate, here also you have to guess. It can be random question paper from random institution. At the end of the day, question is objective, right? Here also there is an objective question, there is also an objective question, right? Mostly it is related to the topics that you have studied very well. Now the difference is the mind, right? So suddenly, over a period of years, over a period of months, what majority of the candidates do is that they give so much special attention, special focus, a special place for this examination in their lives, right? That it becomes so bigger than, right, all other your goals, all other things that you have done so far, all other things you are currently doing. It becomes extremely, you become so much attached to this entire examination, especially the outcome, attachment to the outcome. So you go there, right? Before going there, you don't sleep well, because it has built up the anxiety, the fear. Now I'm starting with this particular mental thing that happens to most of the aspirants, because you have to be careful about this particular factor, right? So from now onwards, when you start your preparation, there are few things you must practice, you must consistently practice. So number one, don't get attached to this examination. Now what do I mean by not attaching with the examination, right? Can anybody tell me what is the meaning of not getting attached with the examination? Giving more overthinking, more attention to it, okay. How to? Always studying, giving more time for studying, okay, yes. Huh? Result, worrying about result all the time, correct. Then, hmm? Keeping 100% hope, okay, like having 100% hope that you are going to crack this examination. Hmm? So what do you mean by attaching with the examination? Hmm? Only hard work, no smart work, simply doing, okay. So in a way you are right, actually I've seen people simply doing things. Then anybody? Hmm.
they fail or if they don't happen, make it to happen, they lose motive, they happen to lose a lot of courage.
Correct.
So I don't think just with one examination you should be really setting back the other things that you've been doing for your whole life. It should be a part of it, not your whole life.
Very good. So yeah, so that's a good answer. Basically, what we do when we attach with something, we have hope, we dedicate ourselves, we really work hard towards it, but as if there is nothing else in this life, right? Totally doing away with the social life, totally doing away with friends, right? Not attending any functions, and also some of you will also have this tendency of worrying a lot about things that you don't have or things that you will miss, right? For example, job especially, that you will be comparing with your friends, that not so brilliant friends are also having a very good job maybe, right? And some of your friends are well settled, and over a period of year, like after 6 months, after 1 year, it's fine, but after 1 or 2 years you'll feel that you're still unemployed, still dependent on your parents, right? Your savings are getting exhausted. If you really want to crack this examination, you have to so mentally tough that you should never worry about anything that happens around you, whether in personal life, whether you know in your family, in your surroundings, circumstances. What they do sometimes, they consume you, right? We allow circumstances to consume us, never allow any kind of circumstance to consume you, right? You have to be, there is a word like stoic like, right? Stoicism is kind of a philosophy. So stoic like is, you're not affected by anything. It's basically like a stone cold, you're so mentally tough, you're not happy when things are really happy, right? So you're not sad when things are really sad. So you maintain that mental stability, mental toughness, even when situations are not in your favor, right? Somehow you have to develop that mental toughness. For me, I keep emphasizing on this factor with each passing year, with each orientation, because this is something that I've been witnessing, right? I keep wondering like why people fail, right? When you are attaching with something, that is dependency, right? When you depend on something, you are becoming vulnerable, right? You are weakening yourself, right? When you attach with something, you weaken yourself. When you depend on something, it can be an individual, it can be on the outcome. So that weakness is what eventually kills your chances. So, when we say that you should not be attached, you have to be so confident within that, even if this doesn't happen with you, you have to be confident in life that you are going to do something great in your life, right? And for that, you need to develop certain intelligence to use the knowledge that you are gaining, right? Apply the knowledge that you are gaining for your own advantage, right? Wherever it is possible, whichever sectors, whatever you choose. So this preparedness of mind is fundamental to this UPSC preparation. Now this excessive attachment, right? Definitely when the moment comes, right? So irrespective of how academically brilliant you used to be, right? Or how smart you think currently you are, right? If you don't give freedom to your mind to do its job, right? When the moment arrives, right? When you pollute that mind, when you, right? When you, I don't know, pollute is the right word. When you complicate that mind, right? When you give mind other tasks to handle, right? That is when you are going to lose this battle. So how are you going to toughen your mind? How are you going to be very mentally tough? Again, people, why mentally they are not tough is because you remain in your comfort zone all the time, right? So even during the preparation, you I don't know, for some reason you tend to be in a very comfortable zone, right? You're so afraid to take even little risk, right? Walk out of your comfort zone. It can be your cabin, right? It can be your room. Go to market, right? There is Bengaluru Habba coming up, right? So you don't want to go there because waste of time, right? Maybe in Ranga Shankara there may be a very good play happening, right? Some internationally acclaimed theater team is performing something. You don't want to go there because it is waste of time. Bengaluru hosts best literary festivals, right? You really don't want to go there, right? Because you may be attracted to so many books and then you may have to buy so many books, eh, and bring so many books to your room, right? No, that is not the reason. You are not interested, right? Because you have locked your mind and excessively obsessed with only one thing. Please, for God's sake, don't do that, right? So this is entire UPSC preparation is something that is enjoyable, right? Something very exciting. All the things that you are going to study, understand, make notes for, and write about, they're all wonderful, right? Details, concepts, issues, whatever, they're all going to enrich your life, right? From this perspective, you have to begin your preparation and you have to continue with the preparation. So I'm sure like some of your science graduates, commerce graduates, engineers, doctors, maybe law graduates. For all of you, most of the things are going to be new year, right? Art and culture, geography, world history, modern Indian history, right? Governance, social justice, security issues, economy, agriculture, whatever spread across all four GS papers, they are going to be new for you, unfortunately new for you, right? One of the biggest drawback of our education system is that why you carry that mindset here when you come to Bangalore also, the mindset of locked in, focused only on the preparation, coming to class, noting down everything, going back to your room, reading the notes, reading the reference books. If at all we are given any assignment, no, we will give assignment. So trying to do those achievements, assignments, trying to write few answers, and then coming next day, sitting here, repeating the same process, right? So this is the biggest bane of our education system, right? Most of the educational institutions have never encouraged you or might not have created an environment where you could discuss intellectual stuff, right? Read newspapers, huh? Maybe few of you sit and do a group discussion why Trump is acting the way he's acting, right? Why he is taking such kind of decisions, right? What is happening within India with respect to everything, society, politics, culture, right? So if at all you have discussed, it is a superficial discussion, right? Our opinion without reasoning, our opinion without why, without developing the ability to give multiple reasons, okay, why you have developed certain opinion. So most of you have never read any kind of newspaper in your life till today. Most of you, I'm saying, right? Maybe there may be exceptions here. Any exceptions here? Yeah, ಎತ್ತಪ್ಪ ಕೈ. ಯಾವಾಗಿಂದ ಓದ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಹಾ, ಹಾ, 1 month ಅಲ್ಲ ನನಗೆ. See the confidence. ಯಾರಾದರೂ 2 ವರ್ಷ 3 ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ಓದ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ? ಎನಿವನ್? ಇಲ್ಲಲ್ಲ? See, I am so confident. I can confidently generalize this thing, right? That I said most of you, but all of you, right? All of you do not have the habit of reading newspapers, right? And some of you wait for the first class to happen also. ಯಾರು ಎಸ್ ಅಂದಿದ್ದ? ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಆಗಲಿ, ಅದರಲ್ಲೂ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಓದೋದು ಅಂತಲೂ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಡ್ಲಿ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಪೇಪರ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡೋಣ ಅಂತಂದು, ರೈಟ್? See, with this attitude, you are not going to crack this examination, right? Knowledge is something that you should crave for, right? There should be craving for knowledge. There should be craving, you know, to understand the world around you, right? To understand whatever is happening around you conceptually, right? Why some things are happening the way they are happening, right? You have to be very curious. Let curiosity push, drive the entire preparation. That doesn't mean you have to do research, right? When we say that curiosity, that doesn't mean you have to do lots of research. I don't think you expected this kind of beginning for orientation, right? The reason, I'm holding mic and, in this position, from this position, and from my cabin, I've been a constant here, right? If I have to use an imagery, that, you have been like a river. People come and go, people come and go, right? So I've seen many toppers, I've seen many failed people, but what I've seen most of the times is that people coming with lots of hope, but not ensuring that, though the success was possible, right? It was within their reach, but somehow the kind of effort they had to put, that effort was not put in realizing their dream, right? ಬರ್ತೀರಾ, ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂರ್ತೀರಿ, ಪಾಠ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಂತೀರಿ, right? And then you become invisible suddenly. And what we notice is that out of this big crowd, eventually only 4 to 5 people will become visible, right? When we say visible, uh, that mental toughness I was talking about, maybe that was there from the beginning, right? Or maybe that desire that at any cost I have to crack this examination, but without diluting, without missing the other things I was talking about. So only few people remain in the end, and inevitably every year we see that it is those people who don't give up in the end, those who become visible by virtue of, their desire to improve. They come, show essays regularly, they write answers regularly, right? And we don't tell them, right? We don't force them to write essays, we don't force them to. Somehow they start doing it by themselves. It is those people who give us ranks every year. So my question all the time is that why can't everyone do the same thing, right? We have facility, we have resources to ensure that everyone's answer, everyone's essays are corrected regularly, even after you pass out from the OGP course, right? So we have a system where we don't demarcate that, batch 1, the course ends this month of next year or something, and you're not anymore our student. We never do that. We continuously treat you as our student, and we keep welcoming you, right? We want you to come, improve, come and update whatever is happening, and then when you go from Bangalore, it should be with a good rank, whatever dream that you are dreaming about. So all the facility, all the resources are available. Now you have to ask this question: why this happens to you, right? The process is long, right? It is not going to happen within next 2 years unless, right, you have come here with already a built foundation. It can be a very basic foundation, but if you have come here with certain foundation, it is going to be fast from here. But as I understand, most of you lack the general awareness, right? General knowledge, and knowledge about the current affairs, and also the background of all the current affairs, right? Most of you lack. So be patient, have patience, and build a very strong foundation, right? Don't be in a hurry to crack this examination like next year itself, right? Or some of you may be thinking of 26 also, right? Let us apply this year and, try my luck. There are 6 attempts, 9 attempts, unlimited attempts, right? Don't do that, right? Chase excellence, be ambitious. So have ambition of going to the interview in your very first attempt, right? If IAS, IPS or IFS, I think these three are the services that most of you want here, right? Anyone have come here for only IRS, audit and account service, railway protection force? No, right? IAS, IPS and Indian foreign service. Some of you may be Indian forest service also, right? If that is the service, or these are the services that you really want to get into, you should not look at the time factor. When I say you should not look at the time factor, it may take you 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, or 7 years, right? Are you mentally ready for this? Ready there mentally? Huh? Boys, hmm? Girls, ready there? Are you really mentally ready for this? Hmm? When I say 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, doesn't mean that you have to be unemployed, right, and continue the preparation full time, right? Give 2 years of your utmost, right, ability. 2 years of whatever it takes, right? You have to push the limits, your mental toughness, your mind, everything, whatever limits, your ability, right? Endurance, the resilience, right? 2 years. 2 years, if you can, at Insight says, somehow manage to devote 10 to 12 hours every day. 10 to 12 hours every day for 2 years continuously under our guidance, under the monitoring of our mentors, right? Under this system, I can definitely assure you that in your very first attempt, you are going to clear your preliminary examination. And if all the things happen very well, and when I say 2 years, right, now all of you come with different backgrounds, right? Maybe if somebody has come from National Law School, example, right? So they might have been taught a lot about writing, debating, discussing, critical thinking, analytical thinking. If some of you maybe from some engineering college, any engineering college, I don't think they are taught these skills, right? Writing, critical thinking, debating, discussing about the general issues. So there is a disparity here, right? So when I say 2 years, you have to devote like 12 hours or more than 12 hours continuously. So there may be the one who is at a disadvantageous position, right? Who doesn't have this kind of background. For you it might take extra time, maybe 6 months or 1 year extra time, right? First you have to process, you have to understand, you have to process, right? You have to learn to apply that knowledge, right? Across the fields, across different disciplines. So this is not a easy thing to do, you have to develop that, right? So how are you going to develop that, right? So here at Insights IAS, what do we do? So from very in the beginning, first few classes, we are going to discuss about syllabus, newspapers, right? Optionals, the basic things related to the examination. So this is kind of a very basic introduction to the course. So after that, we'll start with a subject, and with every subject, we expect you to write minimum one answer every day, either in the classroom or outside the classroom. That is the minimum expectation. Now those who want to crack this exam in their very first attempt, right, our inner desire is that that candidate goes back and attempts at least one extra answer by their own choice voluntarily, right? That is our expectation, that you go back, right? Somehow you are ambitious, you go back, choose one question, maybe PYQ related to the topic that was taught in the class, maybe from our website, random question, and you try to answer that question based on whatever you have understood in the class. Anyone who does this, right, anyone who does this and maintains that consistency, right, you will gain confidence to write two more answers maybe after a month, three more answers after few months, right? So there are students from last year OGP, I see that some of them are writing 5 6 answers every day, right? And they continuously come and show to their mentors, and all the mentors are available all the time, right? And they are eager to help you, and There is also kind of healthy competition among them, that my student should become topper, right? They devote their time, right? They spend their energy. So that kind of a healthy, positive, optimistic, right, environment we have built in insights IAS. Now we also expect after the class you to be, that's what, that is what is the leadership skill, right? Taking voluntary initiatives with respect to learning also, right? Not just in doing certain things, in terms of learning. So preliminary question papers like PYQs, MCQs that are there on the website, right? You voluntarily take 10 to 20 questions, right, and try to solve them as well. So anybody who does this regularly on a consistent basis, we have seen, we have witnessed that within 4 to 5 months, right, their answers are so well. So you might have started with geography, then continued with the polity, then with the economy. But we have seen that after understanding these core subjects, your answers in other subjects also start showing the good quality. But for that, the in the from the very first day itself, you have to shed any kind of inhibition. You have to leave out any kind of inhibition you have. You must attempt, right? ಈಗ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ತನಕ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀರಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, right? What is the purpose? And I keep wondering about this, right? Now we have come to Bangalore. Why? Bengaluru Insight says, why did you come to Bangalore? Why did you uh, come to this classroom? Why are you sitting in the classroom? Hmm? What is the answer? ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲೇ ಕೂರ್ಬೋದಿತ್ತಲ್ವಾ, ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇತ್ತು. ಡಿಸಿಪ್ಲಿನ್, ಒನ್ ಇಸ್ ಡಿಸಿಪ್ಲಿನ್, ಓಕೆ. ದೆನ್ ಗೋಲ್, ಹೊಡಿಯಪ್ಪ ಗೋಲ್. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರ್ ಇಸ್
better resources if we come to offline classes.
better resources, like what kind of resources?
Like directly contact with the mentors,
Very good. Directly contacting with the mentors, okay. Then
library access.
library access, very good. Then hmm? Dedication, okay.
There's a wider perspective on everything that you're studying. It's a lot of exposure to the topics that we're already learning about.
Good. Wider perspective and exposure to toppers and people who have given mains interview. Okay, good. Then competition. Okay. But what do I witness? Huh?
I don't think studying offline gives you, I mean, online gives you a lot of competition to yourself. So when you're offline and you see other people who are doing the same thing as you get more confidence, a lot of courage to do more than just sitting online on screen.
Correct. It is all true, whatever you're saying, right? I think whatever she said also. So that is the intention, that is the purpose, maybe those were the reasons that why you came to offline. And some of you might have burnt your hands also, right? Trying to do some self study, realizing that it is not going anywhere, right? No discipline, no consistency. So then you would have come here. We see people doing that, especially those who think they are very smart, right? From best colleges, they are smart, they are really brilliant. So what they don't realize is that they need guidance, they need a system where they understand the competition, where they are always self motivated, right? This is not the exam where you lock yourself, right, and do the preparation from your room. You need people around you. So the question why I was asking is that what I witnessed here, even after people coming for the offline mode, right, there is not much difference from your online preparation even when you are doing your offline preparation, right? So in the laptop you will see, let us say our Manjuna sir teaching polity live. You are understanding very much, you are seeing him, you are listening, you are understanding, there is interaction, right? So you are noting down, so you have made the notes. Then what do? You read the textbook, maybe you write an answer, right? And then you take up the newspaper, you read. So the entire day goes in completing these things, being alone, maybe in your cabin, maybe in your room. So what you said, that you have come here specifically to meet mentors, right? Unfortunately, what we have witnessed is that those who are sitting in this classroom, everyone will not come and meet mentors, right? They find their own excuses, reasons for not coming and meeting mentors and teachers. Some of you are reserved by nature, right? Introverts, we can definitely understand. But this is not the place or phase in your life where you are going to be the way you used to be, right? You have come to Bangalore precisely to change your personality also, your individuality also, to develop individuality, not change the individuality, to develop more originality, to become more confident individual, right? Why you have chosen offline is to become more confident, and you become confident or become mentally tough. Earlier I was asking, by interacting, by learning, by making mistakes, by accumulating more experiences, right? So please use inside science precisely this way, right? ಬೇರೆ ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಇಲ್ಲ ಇಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಜನ ಮೆಂಟರ್ಸ್. ನೀವು ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೂ ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ ಮೆಂಟರ್ಸ್. ಡೆಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, 5-10 ಲಕ್ಷ ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಖರ್ಚು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ ಬರ್ತೀರಾ, right? But we see them, not writing a single essay because someone was not available for evaluation or guiding them how to write an essay. Here you have everything. All you need to do is that somehow motivate yourself. After the class, write answers, write more answers, come to mentor and show them your answers on a regular basis. See, to achieve success you need four things, right? In any field, the first one is that good intention, right? Why you want to do this? The intent must be good, the intention must be noble, right? ದುಡ್ಡು ಮಾಡಕ್ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಇಲ್ಲಿ? Have you come for, are you power hungry that you want to be powerful just for the sake of being powerful? No, I'm sure you have got lots of reasons why you want to be in civil service. So social service irbodu, right? ನಮ್ಮ family to give it, the kind of status, respect it deserves. That is also a good cause. There is nothing wrong with respect to that. So there are many good purposes. Maybe your ambition, right? You want to excel in your life. That is also a good purpose. Second one is that honesty. Honesty in your preparation is must. Honesty in your effort. Pramanikata. Good intention. Second one is the honesty. Honesty is utmost important. Your parents have sent you here with lots of trust on you. You have convinced them, right? So once you have come here, every step of your preparation, be honest. Be ruthlessly honest with yourself, with us, with your parents also. Why you have come here? Try to pursue that honestly. Be very honest. Don't lose the focus. Be very honest. If you are sitting in library cabin and you know whether you are honest or not, right? You have common sense. You have minimum intelligence to know whether what you are doing is right or wrong, right? Be honest. By being honest with every step of your preparation, right, you will realize that, right, you are developing that confidence, right, and you are making lots of progress. The third one, the most important factor that we see lacking in most of the candidates is the consistency, right? Good intent, honesty. The third one is the consistency. So you have started your preparation, you have started doing something, right? This is the goal. Be consistent with respect to this. Be consistent. Write answers, read, come to the class, meet mentors. Like 1 week you have met a mentor, right? He gave a good feedback or bad feedback, and then you vanish, right? So don't be like that. Come again. Keep coming again. So even if you get the lowest of the low marks, right? Sometimes we at Insight Science we ensure that we never insult anyone. We never humiliate anyone. We are not at all arrogant. Starting with me to the last supporting staff, you will see at Insight Sales, not a single individual is rude or arrogant at Insight Sales. Everyone is humble, down to earth. Everyone is of helping nature at Insight Sales. So ensure that there is consistency. The fourth one is that consistency with improvement. So don't write the same kind of answer that you are writing tomorrow also or day after tomorrow. There must be a little improvement, right? So if you ensure these four things with respect to this preparation, that you will realize that the journey is going to be smooth, and you will also see that, right? You will start gaining our trust, our attention. In fact, we will give lots of our time for your preparation, right? Even when we are busy, we will see that this candidate is honest, serious, consistent, showing a good progress, right? So it doesn't matter where we are, how much occupied we are, we start giving you time. And these are the traits that we have seen in many of the toppers, and also in general those who are successful in their lives, right? Now coming to the technical aspects of the examination. So last year the highest marks in mains was how much? Hmm? 863, right? 863 was the highest marks. Again, it was not I think Shakti Dubey marks. I think it was rank 6 or 8, I think. 863 out of hmm? mains only. 1750, 1750, right? Out of 1750, the highest marks in the mains examination was 863, and the cutoff was 729, right? Before that year, the highest marks was 899, right? The cutoff was somewhere around 735 or 740, right? Now, what we are seeing since last 5 years, the shrinking gap between the highest marks in mains and the general cutoff. What does it indicate? Hmm? Mains alle, out of 1750, it is becoming difficult to score more than 850, right? And I was just seeing Shakti Dubey marks 100 in essay, right? 140 in ethics paper, around 280 in optional, on an average 110 in GS, 3 GS papers, right? And I think around 200 in the interview, 100 in the essay. And our one student, ranked 34 from Karnataka, he scored 139 in the essay paper. So, so we guided him here, Rangamanju, right? Rank 34, second highest marks in the essay paper. So, what it is showing, the shrinking gap, right, is that in the mains phase, the competition is very, very high, tough. The competition is huge. Now, when I insist you to write one answer, two answers every day, now most of the serious students who clear prelims and write mains would have come with lots of answer writing practice, right? Because now it has become kind of mainstream, doing answer writing. Earlier it was not like that. Before 2019-18, we wouldn't see majority aspirants doing the answer writing. But you have to do lots of answer writing to be in the competition. Now, two papers, essay and ethics, have become deciding factors more than the optional in the mains examination. Right? There was a phase when people would devote lots of time for optional, try to score 350 or 340 in optional, and try to gain an advantage. Now it is not like that. So GS 1 2 3 questions are still predictable, right? Out of 20 questions, one can predict at least 10 to 12 broad issues on which the questions are going to come. But when it comes to essay and ethics, it is not predictable, and also the entire paper is subjective in nature. So we call them philosophical topics. The kind of questions you see them in the examination, they force you to think for the first time in your life in that moment, right? About something totally new that most likely that you haven't encountered in your life. That kind of idea, statement, or essay topic. For the first time in the examination, you have to think about it and you have to create an answer, right? So that is extremely difficult. It is extremely difficult because, as I said in the very beginning, when you don't come with analytical and critical thinkings, right? That kind of writing practice, it becomes very difficult to develop that kind of writing. So at Insights IS, we make you write essays from the very go itself. So your focus must be on doing answer writing as well as writing essays and ethics answers as early as possible. Essay and ethics mostly based on the common sense, right? The kind of topics they give. So you need to have a basic understanding of bit of philosophy, psychology that we will guide you in the process of preparation. But you should not be scared of writing an essay. ಭಯ ಅಲ್ವಾ essay ಬರೆಯೋದಕ್ಕೆ? Huh? Like if I give you a topic, right? If I give you a topic and ask you to write an essay now itself, ಬರಿತೀರಾ? How many of you will write? How many of you will write? ಕೈ ಎತ್ತಿ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಹ್ಮ್? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. ಗುಡ್. ಹ್ಮ್? ಕೊಡಲ್ಲ ಟಾಪಿಕ್, ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಕೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ರೈಟ್? ಇಲ್ಲ ತಾನೆ. ಬೇಸಿಕಲಿ ಝೀರೋ ಕರೆಂಟ್ಲಿ, ಇವಾಗ ಬ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಸ್ಲೇಟ್. ಕರೆಂಟ್ಲಿ ದ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರಿಪರೇಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ಹಂಗೆ. ಸೊ even then can you apply your mind, because in the examination that is what is going to happen, right? ಎಲ್ಲ ಓದಿರ್ತೀರಾ, right? But even then, for example, there is no path to happiness, happiness is the path. So this was the UPSC topic. There is no path to happiness, happiness is the path. ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಕೇಳಿರ್ತೀರಿ, ಬಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪಿ ಹ್ಯಾಪಿ ಹೋಗಿರ್ತೀರಿ. ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಅದು, ಅವ್ರು ಹಂಗೆ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋದು ಅಂತಂದು, ರೈಟ್? ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಅಷ್ಟೇನೆ. ಬಟ್ 1200 ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ರೈಟ್ ನೌ, ರೈಟ್? ಸೇ ರಿಯಲ್, ದಿಸ್ ವಾಸ್ ಎ ರಿಯಲ್ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಇನ್ ರಿಯಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್. ನಾವು ಹ್ಯಾಪಿನೆಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಏನಾರು ಬರಿಬೋದು, ನಾನು ಹಂಗೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಖುಷಿ ಆಗ್ತೀನಿ, ಹಿಂಗೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಖುಷಿ ಆಗ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತಂದು. ಬಟ್ ದೆರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಪಾತ್ ಟು ಹ್ಯಾಪಿನೆಸ್, ಹ್ಯಾಪಿನೆಸ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಪಾತ್ ಅಂತೆ. ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ರೈಟ್ 1200 ವರ್ಡ್ ಎಸ್ಸೆ, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಈಗ ಹೆಂಗಿದಿರಲ್ಲ ಸಿಚುವೇಶನ್, ಆಕ್ಚುಯಲ್ ಮೀನ್ಸಲ್ಲೂ ಹಂಗೇನೆ. ಡಿಡ್ ಯು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್? Currently, the way your modern history, environment, economy is not going to help there, right? 1 year of knowledge that you are going to accumulate, right? All the GS knowledge, it is not going to help you, right? This essay in the happiness topic. So basically, there is no difference. So you have to somehow develop this skill, this application of mind, using the knowledge that you already possess, all the observations you have made in your life, all the experiences that you have, right? So you have to develop perspectives, the way you look at things differently, right? Enriching perspectives, what we say. For this, merely coming to class, listening to GS classes will not help. I have been advocating one thing very strongly past 6-7 years, that you must at any cost develop a strong reading habit, right? You must read fiction and non-fiction books, right? Mark my words, in another 2 to 3 years, whatever I am saying currently is going to become mainstream. It is going to be the important part of the UPSC preparation, right? Because this will get saturated. All the GS things, everyone will understand constitution, everyone will remember articles, everyone will remember all court cases, all amendments made to the constitution, all government schemes, right? In the era of artificial intelligence, your creativity, your critical thinking skills will be more valued, will be more tested in the actual examination. So for that, the kind of reading you make, right, is very important. So that also I'm very sure, barring few people who may be reading certain novels, right, popular fiction, majority do not have any kind of reading habit. So anyone who have been reading books? Hmm. ಎತ್ತಿ ಕೈ ಎತ್ತಿ, ಕೇಳ್ತೀನಿ, ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಕೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. Yeah. So what kind of books? Huh? Atomic habit. What about you? Yes. Yes. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. The monk who sold his Ferrari. Hmm? The art of not giving ಏನು ಅಂತೆ. And hmm? that kind of how to become think rich and grow, something like that. Huh? Huh? Seven habits of most successful, something like that. There is nothing wrong in these are called as self-help books, right? Self-help books help ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಬುಕ್ಸ್ ಏನು ಕಲ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ ಅದ್ರ ಮುಂದೆ. ಒಂದು ಬುಕ್ ಮುಗಿಸ್ದೆ ನಾನು ಓದಿ, ರೈಟ್, ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದಿ ಅಚೀವ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಅದನ್ನ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬೇರೆ ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಅರುಂಧತಿ ರಾಯ್ ಬುಕ್ಸ್ ಓದಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಹ್ಮ್. ದ ಗಾಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್. ಹ್ಮ್. ಹೇಲ್ ಮೇರಿ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಟು ಮೀ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ರೀಸೆಂಟ್ ಒಂದು ಹೊಸ ಬುಕ್ ಬಂದಿದೆ, ಅದರ ಆಟೋಬಯೋಗ್ರಫಿ. ಓದಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಅನಿತಾ ದೇಸಾಯಿ ಹೆಸರು ಕೇಳಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಅವಾರ್ಡ್? ನೋ, ಯು ಅವಾರ್ಡ್. ಅನಿತಾ ದೇಸಾಯಿ ಹೆಸರು ಕೇಳಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಅಮಿತಾವ್ ಘೋಷ್? ಹ್ಮ್. ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅರವಿಂದ್ ಅಡಿಗ? ಹ್ಮ್. ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸಲ್ಮಾನ್ ರಶ್ದಿ? ಇದನ್ನಾದ್ರೂ ಕೇಳಿರ್ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ, ಸಲ್ಮಾನ್ ರಶ್ದಿ. ಹ್ಮ್. ಸಟಾನಿ ಕೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಬುಕ್ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಹೆಸರು? ದಟ್ ಬುಕ್ ವಾಸ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಇನ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಫಾರ್ ಸೋ ಮೆನಿ ಡಿಕೇಟ್ಸ್. Salman Rushdie, there was an attempt to murder him also in America. He lost one of his eyes. Indian author, Midnight's Children anta, for which he got Booker Prize. It's a very famous novel. We call ಯಾರ್ದು ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ ಲಿಟ್ರೇಚರ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ಇಲ್ಲಿ? ನೀನು ಓದ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ವೇನಪ್ಪ ಬುಕ್ಸ್? ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬೇರೆದು. ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ ಆಚೆ ಯಾವುದಿತ್ತು? ಶೇಕ್ಸ್ಪಿಯರ್ ಬುಕ್ ಯಾವುದಿತ್ತು? ಶೇಕ್ಸ್ಪಿಯರ್ದು ಯಾವುದಿತ್ತಪ್ಪ ನಿಮಗೆ? ಹಾಂ, ಯಾವುದು? ಮಿಡ್ ಸಮರ್ಸ್ ನೈಟ್. ಅದನ್ನ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬೇರೆ ಓದಿಲ್ವಾ? ಹಾಂ. ರೋಮಿಯೋ ಜೂಲಿಯಟ್ ಓದಲಿಲ್ವಾ? ಹಾಂ. ಜೂಲಿಯಸ್ ಸೀಸರ್, ಮರ್ಚೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ವೆನಿಸ್. ಓಕೆ. ಬೇರೆವು? ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಬೆತ್, ಒಥೆಲೋ. ಸ್ಟೋರಿ ಗೊತ್ತು. ಹ್ಞೂ. ಎಸ್ ಎಲ್ ಭೈರಪ್ಪ ಬುಕ್ಸ್ ಓದಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಹ್ಞೂ. ಯಾರು ಓದಿದ್ದೀರಪ್ಪ? ಯಾವ ಬುಕ್ಕು? ಯಾವುದು? ದೂರ ಸರಿದರು. ಓಕೆ. ನೀನು? ಹಾಂ. ಮಾನಯನ? ಏನು ಬುಕ್ ಹೆಸರು? ಪಾನಯನ? ಯಾನ 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 ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಯಾನ. ಹ್ಞೂ. ಬೇರೆ ಓದಿಲ್ವಾ? ದಾಟು? ನೀವು ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡಿಲ್ಲ, ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಅಂಚು? ಓಕೆ, ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್. ಹ್ಞೂ. ಕಾರ್ವಾಲ್ ಓದಿದ್ಯಾ? ಚಿದಂಬರ ರಹಸ್ಯ ಓದಿಲ್ವಾ? ಹ್ಞೂ. ಹ್ಞೂ. ತಬರನ ಕತೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾ? ತಬರನ ಕತೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾ? ಮಿಲೇನಿಯಂ ಸೀರೀಸ್ ಅಂತ ಅವ್ರ ಬುಕ್ಸ್ ಬಂತು. ನೋ. ಬೇರೆ ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಈ ಲಿಯೋ ಟಾಲ್ಸ್ಟಾಯ್ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಬುಕ್ಸ್ ಓದಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಇಲ್ಲ. ನಾನ್ ಫಿಕ್ಷನ್ ಬುಕ್ಸ್, ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಬುಕ್ಸ್ ನಾನ್ ಫಿಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಬುಕ್ಸ್ ಅದು. ಹ್ಞೂ. ಅದು ಫಿಕ್ಷನ್ ಬುಕ್ಸ್, ಅದು ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಬೇರೆ ಬುಕ್ಸ್? ಹ್ಞೂ. ಇಲ್ಲಲ್ಲ, ಓದಿಲ್ಲಲ್ಲ. ಹ್ಞೂ. ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್. ಬಾನು ಮುಷ್ತಾಕ್ ಓದ್ದ ಅದನ್ನ? ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ಯಾ? ನ್ಯೂಸಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ, ಇನ್ನು ಓದ್ಬೇಕು. ಹ್ಞೂ. ನೀವು ಒಂದು 2 ತಿಂಗಳಾಯ್ತಾ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ? ಹ್ಞೂ. 1 ಮಂತ್ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಓದಿದ್ರೆ 5 ತಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಗಿಸ್ಬಿಡ್ಬೋದು ಆ ಬುಕ್ನ. ಟೈಮ್ ಇಲ್ಲ? ಏ ಬಾರಿ ಬಿಡು. ಹ್ಞೂ. ಯಾವ ಊರು ನಿಮ್ಮದು? ರಾಯಚೂರಾ? ರಾಯಚೂರಿಂದ ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಬಂದೆ? ಹ್ಞೂ. ಬಸ್ಸಾ ಟ್ರೈನಾ? ಎಷ್ಟು ಗಂಟೆ ಜರ್ನಿ? 7 ಅವರ್ಸಾ? ನೈಟ್ ಜರ್ನಿನಾ ಡೇ ಜರ್ನಿನಾ? ನೈಟ್. ಬಚಾವಾದೆ. ಹ್ಞೂ. ಹ್ಞೂ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಡೇ ಜರ್ನಿ ಮಾಡು, ಓದ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡು, ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಸಿ, the kind of toppers who are emerging nowadays are those who have got an advantage in essay and ethics, I told, and also an advantage in the interview, right? In the interview, I won't be asking about Russia-Ukraine war. So I'm currently doing mock interviews. So I'm not interested in testing your factual knowledge, right? I am interested in testing your way of thinking, your personality, your perspectives, your opinion, and why you have developed certain opinion, right? So these are the things that I'm very much interested in learning, in engaging with you, right? Having a conversation with you. So you have to compulsorily start reading other books. In my experience, what I've seen is that even if you give only 20 minutes or 30 minutes every day, right? In a month, you can complete 2 to 3 books. Any books of your choice. Just 20 to 30 minutes. ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದಾದ್ರೂ ಹುಡ್ಕೊಂಬರ್ಬೇಕು. Out of 24 hours, right? Somewhere you have to find that 20 to 30 minutes. ನೀವೊಂದು ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಬರೆದ್ರೂ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ರೈಟ್? ಅರ್ಧ ಗಂಟೆ ನಿದ್ದೆ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. So develop this habit. If you want to crack this UPSC examination, this is no more a mere test of general studies, general awareness. I mean, from the perspective of the syllabus, right? You have to develop a strong critical thinking skills, analytical thinking. Unfortunately, so in fact, we try to do that. We conduct sessions. There is Umesh sir, myself. We try to have such kind of discussions. But unfortunately, the largely the coaching, right, won't take care of that, right? Mostly it will be lots of information, though it has analysis, but for it is a ready-made analysis for you, right? You have to develop that. So you have to start developing this habit of reading books and editorials. No shortcut to editorials, right? Paper open ಮಾಡಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಓದಿ editorial. I know you are not going to understand anything, right? But learn and try to understand on the go. So it might take 2 hours, 3 hours to complete newspaper, but it is worth. Just because it is going to take many hours to do this exercise, don't find a shortcut. YouTube videos, ready-made analysis, or chat GPT. So don't do that. Go through the hard path, right? Over a period of time, the time will get reduced, right? Your ability to understand, analyze, you will eventually develop. But by bypassing this whole process, if you try to memorize and learn, all the knowledge stuff, right? So you are trying to build something without any solid foundation, right? It will keep collapsing, right? You will realize that your answer lacks substance, originality. Yes, you will realize that you are not able to write a original essay, right? Without reading books, right? uh, when we were discussing about that happiness topic, if you have read few philosophy books, right? So maybe you can quote 2 to 3 philosophers. If you have read few novels, you can quote 1 or 2 characters from novel, right? So maybe if you have read few psychology books, right? Maybe you can use some concepts related to happiness, right? If you're out of interest, if you have read something related to the human mind and physiology of it, so maybe you can give some details. Maybe science and technology related to happiness, if you have developed some perspective, you might give them. But without doing any of this, what are you going to write in this particular essay topic? So if you score less than 100 in the essay paper and less than 100 in the ethics paper in the mains examination and less than 150 in the interview, you are not going to crack this examination at any cost, right? So GS 123 will learn, you will learn everything, right? How much marks is there for the essay paper? 250. How much marks for the general studies paper 3? 250. So general studies paper 3, 250 marks, and you have economy, right? You have agriculture, you have environment, you have science and technology, and then security issues, disaster management, lots of broad topics, right? You will devote like entire year reading only GS3 to master economy, agriculture, SNT, security issues, everything, right? But are you going to give enough time, same amount of time for the essay paper? ಅದು 250 marks ಅಲ್ವಾ? That is also for 250 marks. So this is one mistake every UPSC candidate commits in their preparation. No focus on the essay and ethics paper, which are for the 500 marks. So in the course of preparation, somehow what I'm giving you is the giving out is the secret to success, right? Somehow master the writing of essay and ethics. If you can figure out in the very beginning, all you need to do is the start trying, right? With feedback, you will develop, how to improve, how to gather ideas, how to gather content for these essays from various sources. With interaction, you will eventually figure out. So if you can master these two in the mains examination, you are definitely going to score 800 plus, and you are there in the top 50, right? So this is something, don't ignore at any cost. Extremely important. No one will tell you about these things in the orientation, right? Essay, ethics paper. The orientation is where we give broad idea about syllabus, how to read newspaper, and all these things, right? But if you want to save a number of years, right? These are the things you must start doing immediately. And the interview part, out of 275, when you walk into the interview room, right, with the 20 to 30 minutes interaction, you can walk out with 215 marks, highest marks given in the interview out of 275. GS3, you give 5 years of your time reading only economy, security issues, SNT, ರೈಟ್ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅಪ್ಪನಾಣೆಗೂ 90 ಮೇಲೆ ಬರಲ್ಲ ನಿಮಗೆ. ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಲಿ ಅಂತ. ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಕನ್ನಡ, ನೋ ಕನ್ನಡ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಕನ್ನಡ ಯಾರಿಗಾರು ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ವಾ ಇಲ್ಲಿ? ನಿಂಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ವಾ? ರಾಯಚೂರು ತೆಲುಗು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿರಲ್ಲಿ. ಹ್ಞೂ ಹಾಂ, ಅಂದರೆ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಫಾದರ್ ಆಣೆಗೂ ಅಂತಂದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಫಾದರ್ ಪ್ರಾಮಿಸ್ ರೈಟ್. ನೀವು ಎಷ್ಟಾದರೂ ಟೈಮ್ ಕೊಡಿ, ನೀವೇ ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬುಕ್ ಬರೀರಿ ಎಕಾನಮಿ, ರೈಟ್. ಹಾಂ, ಅ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಗೈಡ್ ಟು ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಎಕಾನಮಿ. ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಯುವರ್ ನೇಮ್? ಬೈ ಸೃಷ್ಟಿ. ಅ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಗೈಡ್ ಟು ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಎಕಾನಮಿ ಸೃಷ್ಟಿ. ಹಿಂಗೆ ಬರಲ್ಲ, 90 ಮೇಲೆ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸೇ ಬರಲ್ಲ ನಿಮಗೆ ಎಕಾನಮಿನಲ್ಲಿ. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ವೆರಿ ರೇರ್ ಟು ಸಿ ಎನಿಬಡಿ ಗೆಟಿಂಗ್. ಈ ಶಕ್ತಿ ದುಬೆದು 85 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ರ್ಯಾಂಕ್ 1 ಪೇಪರ್ 3, ರೈಟ್. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟ್. ಬಟ್ ಅದೇ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ನಿಮ್ಮದೇ ಪರ್ಸ್ನಾಲಿಟಿ, ಬೇರೆದಲ್ಲ, ರೈಟ್. ಸೊ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಫೋಕಸ್ ಆನ್ ಯುವರ್ ಓನ್ ಪರ್ಸ್ನಾಲಿಟಿ and develop a better communication skills, right? Confidence, good knowledge, perspectives. You can walk in, talk there for 20-25 minutes. Out of 275, you can walk out with somewhere between 190 to 215 marks, right? Which is more easy. Now see, I mean, see the point here, right? Essay, I'll just give you marks, you note down the marks, your targets for your attempt in the mains examination. Write 140 in the essay paper, right? You have to calculate 140 essay, 130 in ethics paper, okay. GS 100, GS 2 110, 110, GS 3 ಗೊತ್ತು ಏನು ಹೇಳು, ಒಂದು ಅರೌಂಡ್ 85, ರೈಟ್, ಅರೌಂಡ್ 85. GS 3 around 85, GS 1 I said 100, GS 2 110, essay 140, ethics 130, optional 260, right? Optional 260. So in optional, paper 1, it is easy to score. Paper 2, the applied part of the application part. Paper 2 is application of the paper 1, what you learn. Many people find it difficult because the questions look very generic, but you have to write a very specialized. So we see people scoring 160 in paper 1, 100 in paper 2, whatever it is, around 260 in optional paper. What is the total? Huh? 855. All India top 10, right? Now add 150 in the interview, right? So you are still in the top 100, right? Even if it is 150 and 850, you are very much in the top 100. I think you are in top 50, I think, right? Now, on the other hand, right? So all like GS papers, like 75 in paper 1, GS paper 1, paper 2 90, paper 3 70, ethics maybe 125, essay 125. How much is the total? Hmm? Four, oh, sorry, optional is also optional 250. Huh? 735, right? 6 marks above the cutoff. So the GS marks are the basic marks. Anybody who writes mains, actually, even if you attempt the GS1 paper, you will see them scoring around 70 marks. I put 75, right? So even if it is almost, just below average in GS papers, you can be above the cutoff. Now, if you score 200 in the interview, right? 200 plus in the interview, top 4 service is definitely assured if you can score 215 in the interview, right? So I think you're going to be somewhere in the top 200, or maybe likely to be in top 200. IPS is assured, OBC IAS is assured, right? Now I have seen that majority people, not major, like everyone ignoring the interview part in this preparation. They come after the mains. Immediately after the mains, I made a video telling them that you don't have time to improve your personality. Start immediately, right? So the interview is the most important. So you don't know your hobbies, you don't know your achievements, you don't know what you have done in your life. Suddenly you are asked after the prelims. Nowadays it was after the mains earlier. Now immediately after the prelims, you have to fill in all the details like hobbies, everything. So this year the UPSC allowed candidates to change them after the mains result. You could change your hobby. So earlier it was boxing, now it is dancing, right? So earlier it was painting, now it is singing. So you could do that. So within a span of 3 months, you could do that. So now I think they did it intentionally. I don't know, right? So they have the data, like your first version of your hobbies, and now the second version of your hobbies. Like in 3 months, you have evolved so much, right? During the mains time, you devoted your time to learn dancing, right? While writing mains, huh? Time will there. So while writing mains, maybe it was intentional, but we don't know. UPSC is unpredictable. Like sometimes they may not give option to change also, right? You put dancing thinking that after mains you will learn the dance, right? So maybe you have to learn dance now at any cost, right? You cannot change it if you don't have time. So hobbies and interest is something that we sacrifice somewhere in the ninth standard or 10th standard. We try to revive in the graduation days. Not everyone, some of you. And then ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಜನ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಹೋಗೋದು, ಕೂರೋದು, ಕರೀತಾರೆ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಬನ್ನಿ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಸಿಪೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತ, ಮಾಡಿರಲ್ಲ, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಅನದರ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಹಾಬೀಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ, ರೈಟ್? ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡಲ್ಲ 200 ಪ್ಲಸ್, ರೈಟ್? ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ ಏನಾದ್ರು. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಹಾಬೀಸ್ ರೀಡಿಂಗ್ ಬುಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂತಂದು, ಬುಕ್ಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡಬೇಕು. ರೈಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ವಾಟ್ ಯು ರೈಟ್ ಅಬೌಟ್, right? But if not about hobbies, they will indicate that you are an individual of diverse interests, right? You can talk about any topic in depth. Even the expectation irutte. So if you are devoting your time only to GS 1 2 3 papers, right? That is what most of the aspirants to GS 1 2 3 and optional, right? During the course of their 2 3 4 5 years preparation, because prelim syllabus also matches, right? So you will devote lots of your time.
So that is why the success rate is diminishing, right? Understand this very well on the very first day. ರೀಫಂಡ್ ಬೇಕಾ ಯಾರಿಗಾದ್ರು? ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನಿಸ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ? ಏನಪ್ಪ ಬರೀ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀಕಾಂತ್ ಓದೋಣ ಅಂತ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಇವರು ಶಶಿ ತರೂರ್ ಬರ್ದಿರೋ ಬುಕ್ ಓದಿ ಕೇಳಿದಾರಲ್ಲ ಶಶಿ ತರೂರ್. If you want to start with any book, Shashi Tharoor has written a book on Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, right? Ambedkar, A Life, right? Start with that book. It's a wonderful book. He writes lucidly, right? His writing is very simple, right? Twitter ಅಲ್ಲಿ he writes, he uses complicated words, right? Conversationally, but in his books, he uses a really very like ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ the language is really simple. So you can start with that book. There is also a book by him, um, a simplified constitution or something. You search Shashi Tharoor constitution, right, in Amazon. There's a very small book, very simple book. So original perspectives on the Indian constitution, right? So instead of, in addition to reading Lakshmikant, if you can read this book also, your introduction, your answer in Indian polity, the paper to answers will definitely stand out, right? This is what I'm trying to convey in this session. So by putting these extra efforts, right, by learning extra and showing them in your answers and essays, that is how you are going to crack this examination. So now coming to prelims, the prelims is all about basics, right? 40 questions any year, even the most difficult year, most difficult question paper. So there are 35 to 40 questions which are very basic. For you to crack the preliminary examination, in addition to developing hobbies and interests, see hobbies and interest ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈಗೆಲ್ಲ ಡಾನ್ಸ್ ಕಲಿಯಕ್ಕೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ನಿಮಗೆ, ರೈಟ್? ಫುಟ್ಬಾಲ್ ಆಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಆಡಿ ವೀಕ್ಲಿ ಒನ್ಸ್ ಹೋಗಿ ಯು ಗೋ ಅಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಎ recreation. But my suggestion is reading and writing hobbies definitely you can develop. Choose any 2 to 3 interests like artificial intelligence, right? Listening to podcasts on artificial intelligence, or maybe economic issues, or maybe climate change, right? So reading books on those themes. So try to develop any 2 interests and trying to gain depth in them. So 10 to 20 books, 10 books on one theme, another 10 books on another theme. So that only you can put. You have the hobby of reading books on artificial intelligence or any advancements in the medical science or something, right? So when it comes to prelims, it is all about basics. In the first month, when you learn, let's say, Indian polity, right, you should not ignore Indian polity basics in subsequent months, right? What people do, they read NCERT, they learn basics in the first month. After that, they will go to, let us say, geography. So you start learning geography, you are ignoring polity, and then comes the environment. You are ignoring geography and polity, moving towards environment. But parallelly, even if you want to continue with the polity, what people will do is that more of answer writing, right? Advanced version, the applied part of the polity. But the very basics that which you have learned in the initial days of the classes, you keep ignoring them. If at all you want to crack the preliminary examination in your very first attempt, strong basics are must. Keep revisiting the basic part of each subject every week, right? Throughout the year, right? Nim basics are strong ittu andre, like basics very much important, the fundamentals, right? Every subject. So devote more time in understanding the basic concepts, right? Let your concepts be crystal clear. Without understanding, without knowing the concept, don't go to another topic, another concept, another chapter, right? Understand concept, let it take more time, right? ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಟೈಮ್ ಹಿಡಿದ್ರು ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಥರೋಲಿ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ದಿ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ and try to apply that with PYQs, some of the questions which we give, and then only you move towards another concept. So that will build the strong foundation. So preliminary examination is still the screening test, the easiest part of the examination. Why we complicate? Because huge resources, too much focus on the attachment with the prelims, right? So over a period of year, those who have given like 3-4 prelims have cleared the preliminary examination. They don't even prepare for the preliminary examination, right? You just go through basics, you walk in, and then you crack the preliminary examination, right? So the basics, without ignoring basics, right? You have to continue with the preparation. ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? Hmm? So you are in the right place. I can assure you with all my honesty. And I do practice honesty. We do practice honesty here, and we are always open for all the feedback, criticism at Inside Size. Right? We encourage you to come and talk openly, whatever it is, any grievances. Right? The doors are always open. I have never kept security outside my cabin, outside my institution. People are free to walk in and make use of our experience, our expertise. All are open for this, right? So the what is intelligence? How do you define intelligence? The actual intelligence, is the ability to what ability? Hmm? What is intelligence? Srushti. Hmm? Hmm. Okay, you have a right choice to give out. Okay, yellow. Hmm. Very good. That was my expectation. So the actual what you said is absolutely right. There is nothing wrong about it. But actual intelligence, in my opinion, right? So let us say that you are in certain circumstance, you are in certain place, right? So ability to utilize the available resources for your own advantage, right? For growth, for accomplishment, for your ambition, whatever it is, ability to make use of the resources. But to make use of the resources, you should be able to see them. You should able to perceive them. You should able to perceive as well as pursue them, right? We become ignorant. We become blind to them. They are there. They are there, but you are you don't see them, and you don't make use of them. Anyone who makes utmost use of the available resources, first by seeing them, by acknowledging them, right, they make the faster progress, right? So that's what I have been conveying in the orientation, mentorship, resources. That is why you have come to the offline. And every Sunday take half day break, right? Explore Bangalore also. ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿಂದ ಹೊರಗೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ರೆ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಾಗ ಇರೋರು ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ನೋಡಿರಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಹ್ಮ್ ಯಾರು ಬೆಂಗಳೂರವ್ರು ಯಾರಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ? ಹ್ಞೂ ಯಾವ ಏರಿಯಾ ನಿಮ್ಮದು? ನಿಮ್ಮದು ಯಾವುದು? ಹನುಮಂತ್ ನಗರ್. ಹಾಂ ಹಾಂ. ನಾಗರಬಾವಿ. ವೈಟ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್. ಹ್ಞೂ ಯಾವುದು? ಬೆಳ್ಳಂದೂರು. ಓಕೆ. ಈ ಕಡೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಬಂದಿರೋದಾ? ಮುಂಚೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬಂದು ಹೋಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಓಕೆ ಗುಡ್. ಟಿಪ್ಪು ಪ್ಯಾಲೇಸ್ ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಹ್ಞೂ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ವಿಕ್ಟೋರಿಯಾ ಹಾಸ್ಪಿಟ್ಲು? ಹಾಂ ಹಾಂ ಯು ವರ್ಕ್ ದೇರ್, ನಿಮ್ಮದೇ ಅದು ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಶಿಪ್. ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್. ಸರಿ. ಹಾಂ ಇನ್ನೇನಿದೆ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಾಗೆ? ಬೆಳ್ಳಂದೂರು ಕೆರೆ ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಬೆಳ್ಳಗಿದೆ ಅದು. ಹ್ಞೂ ಹಾಂ ಇದು ಬೆಳ್ಳಗಿರುತ್ತಂದು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ನಾವು ನೋಡಿದೀವಲ್ಲ, ಏನೋ ಬುರುಗ್ ಬುರುಗ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತದೆ, ಬೆಂಕಿ ಹತ್ತತ್ತಂತಲ್ಲ. ಹ್ಞೂ ಟ್ರಂಪಿಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಡಲ್ಲ ಎಣ್ಣೆ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು. ಏನಿದೆ ನಮಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು. ನಾವು ಸಣ್ಣರಿದ್ದ ಮ್ಯೂಸಿಯಮ್ಗೆ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋದ್ವಿ, ವಿಶ್ವೇಶ್ವರಯ್ಯ ಮ್ಯೂಸಿಯಮ್ಮು. ಈಗ ನಮಗೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ತೋರಿಸ್ಕೊಂಬಂದ್ವಿ. ಹ್ಞೂ ಕಣ ಮಕ್ಕಳಾಗ ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಎಕ್ಸಿಬಿಷನ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ನಡೀತಾ ಇರ್ತದೆ ಅವಾಗವಾಗ. ಎಲ್ಲ ಎಕ್ಸಿಬಿಷನ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗಲ್ಲ. ಬುಕ್ ಬುಕ್ ಎಕ್ಸಿಬಿಷನ್ ವಿಗೋ ಚೀಪಾಗಿ ಸಿಗ್ತವೆ ಬುಕ್ಸ್, ಹಂಗಾಗಿ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಈ ರಂಗಶಂಕರ್ ಎಲ್ಲ 1 or 2 ಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ಹೋಗಿರೋದು. ಬಟ್ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ರಾಮೇಶ್ವರಂ ಕೆಫೆ ಹುಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆ ತಿನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೆ, ರೈಟ್? ಅದೇ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಹುಡುಕೋದು. ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ರೆಸ್ಟೋರೆಂಟ್ ಯಾವುದು, ಹ್ಞೂ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಬಾರ್ ಯಾವುದು, ಸರ್ ಇದು ಏನದು ಏನಂತಾರಪ್ಪ, ಯಾರು ಹೇಳಿದ ಪಬ್ ಅಂತ? ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಪಬ್ ಯಾವುದು? ರೈಟ್, ಹೋಗಿ ಬನ್ನಿ, ಏನು ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಂ, ಅದೇನೋ ಬಿಳಿ ಪೌಡ್ರ್ ಬರ್ತದೆ, ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ತಗೋಕ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಡಿ ಇಷ್ಟು. ಏನು ಬಿಳಿ ಇರ್ತದ ಬ್ರೌನ್ ಇರ್ತದ ಅದು? ಹಾಂ, ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಅಭ್ಯಾಸ ಇಲ್ಲಲ್ಲ ಡ್ರಗ್ಸ್ ಗಿಗ್ಸು? ಇದು ಯಾರಿಗಾದ್ರು? ಅದೇನೋ ಮದ್ಯ ವ್ಯಸನಿ ಮತ್ತು ಮಾದಕ ವಸ್ತುಗಳ ವ್ಯಸನಿಗಳು ಆಗಬೇಡಿ. ಸೊ ಆಲ್ ದ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್. ನಿಮಗೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ಡೌಟ್ಸ್ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂದರೆ ಈಗ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು 10 ನಿಮಿಷ ಟೈಮ್ ಇದೆ, 1/4 ಗಂಟೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಇದೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಟೂ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಟು ಯುವರ್ ಪರ್ಸ್ನಲ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಇನ್ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಐ ವುಡ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಟು ಟಾಕ್ ಅಬೌಟ್. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪರ್ಸ್ನಲ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಅಂದರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ತುಂಬ ಪರ್ಸ್ನಲ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಹಾಳಾಗ್ತೀರಿ ಅಂತ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಲ್ಲಿ, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ವೈ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಡಿವಿಯೇಟ್, ವೈ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್, right? It is, no, I have seen many people, you come with lofty goal, all your big dreams. Somewhere down the lane, you start deviating, start getting distracted, right? ಆ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಡಿಸೈರ್, ನಾನು ಹೆಂಗಾದ್ರೂ ಮಾಡಿ IAS ಆಗಲೇಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಇರ್ತದೆ ಡೇ ಡ್ರೀಮಲ್ಲಿ. ಬಟ್ ಇನ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್, ನಾನು ಆಗಲೇ ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ, ಇಂಟೆಂಟ್, ಹಾನೆಸ್ಟಿ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಲ್, ಅದು ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದು ಮೊದಲನೇದು, ದ ರೀಸನ್ ಈಸ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಟ್ರೈ ಟು ಬಿ ದ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್, ಡೋಂಟ್ ಟ್ರೈ ಟು ಬಿ ಪರ್ಫೆಕ್ಷನಿಸ್ಟ್, ರೈಟ್? ಎಲ್ಲ ಬೇಗ ಅಚೀವ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ, ನಾ ಬರೆದ್ರೆ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಬರಿತೀನಿ. ನೋ, ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ವಿತ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್, ರೈಟ್? ಲೆಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಬಿ ದ ಸ್ಟುಪಿಡೆಸ್ಟ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟ್ರೈಡ್, ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್, ರೈಟ್? ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ವಿತ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್, ಕೀಪ್ ರಿಪೀಟಿಂಗ್, ರೈಟ್? ಏನಾದರೂ ಆಯ್ತು, ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡಿ. ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಜನ ನಾನು ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಬರೋದ ಮೇಲೇ ನಾನು ಹೋಗಿ ಮೆಂಟರಿಗೆ ತೋರಿಸ್ತೀನಿ. ಎಸ್ಸೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಲಿತು ಪ್ರಪಂಚದಲ್ಲಿರೋ ವಿಚಾರಗಳನ್ನ, ದೆನ್ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ರೈಟ್ ಅನ್ ಎಸ್ಸೆ, ದೆನ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಕಮ್ ಟು ವಿನಯ್ ಸರ್. And I have seen, like recently I went to Delhi to do mock interview. One girl came and she showed an essay. It was her 23rd essay. Aita. So then I saw her 23rd essay, and then it was more similar to the second or third essay we see at Insights IAS. It was at very basic level, very predictable. I didn't even read her essay, but just looking at the kind of introduction she had written, I told her what is there in the introduction, what is there after the introduction, what is there in the body, and what is there in the conclusion. Without reading, with experience, you develop that insights. So I was able to tell what kind of examples she has used for the topic, because on that topic we would have seen lots of essays, many people writing. So you have done something wrong, right? But you have never showed that to anyone. In a wrong place, you have done wrong practice, right? But when you do whatever practice, its validation is important, right? So ತಪ್ಪಾಗಿ ಬರ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಸೊ ಕಮ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಶೋ ಇಟ್ ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ಲಿ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ರೀಸನ್ ಪ್ರಿಸೈಸ್ಲಿ ವೈ ಯು ಆರ್ ಇನ್ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು, ರೈಟ್? ಥರ್ಡ್ ಒನ್, ಓವರ್ ಎ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಡೌಟ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಇನ್ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದ ಮೊಮೆಂಟ್ ಯು ಡೆವಲಪ್ self-doubt, insecurity, that is when you invent reasons to move away from here, right? Excuses. You will invent excuses to move away from here. ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಏನೋ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತು ನಿಂಗೆ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ ಅದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು, ಬಟ್ ಯು ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಬಿ ದೇರ್, ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತೀರ, ರೈಟ್? ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅದನ್ನೇ ದೊಡ್ಡದು ಮಾಡೋದು, ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಎಸ್ಕೇಪ್ ಆಗೋದು. ಸೊ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಡೂ ದಟ್. ಇಫ್ ದ ಫೋಕಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಯುವರ್ ಬಿಗ್ ಗೋಲ್, ರೈಟ್, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಥಿಂಕಿಂಗು ಬಿಗ್ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಎಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಗಳು ದೇ ಶುಡ್ ಅಪಿಯರ್ ವೆರಿ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್, ರೈಟ್? ಆಲ್ ದ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ ಇನ್ಸಿಗ್ನಿಫಿಕೆಂಟ್, ರೈಟ್? ಡೋಂಟ್ ಇವನ್ ಲುಕ್ ಅಟ್ ದೆಮ್. ಥರ್ಡ್ ಆರ್ ಫೋರ್ತ್, ಡೋಂಟ್ ಲುಕ್ ಅಟ್ ದಿ ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಷನ್. ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಟಿವ್ ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ಲಿ, ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಸೇ ಶಿ ಈಸ್ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್ಲಿ ವೆಲ್, ರೈಟ್? ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಗಲಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ದಿ ಬಿಗಿನಿಂಗ್. ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ, ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಿರೋದು, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಬೈಯೋದು ಬೇಡ. ಸೊ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಕಂಪೇರ್, ಲೈಕ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅವಳು ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾಳೆ IIT ಬಾಂಬೆಯಿಂದ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ ಸೈನ್ಸು, ಅವಳು ಲೇಡಿ ಶ್ರೀರಾಮ್ ಕಾಲೇಜಿಂದ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾಳೆ, ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಬಿಟ್ಟೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಶಿ ಈಸ್ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ರೈಟಿಂಗ್, ನಾನು ನೋಡಿದರೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ಬೇಸಿಕಲ್ಲಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ರೈಟ್? ಡೋಂಟ್ ಇವನ್ ಬಾದರ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಇಟ್, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಫಾರ್ ಯು, ಯು ಆರ್ ದಿ ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಟರ್, ರೈಟ್?
and you should have bigger ambition from the very beginning itself, right? Be ambitious, put extra hard work, right? ನಾನು ಆಗಲೇ ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ, ಗುಡ್ ಇಂಟೆನ್ಷನ್, ಆನೆಸ್ಟಿ, ಕನ್ಸಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸಿ, ರೈಟ್? ಇಷ್ಟಿತ್ತು ಅಂದರೆ ಸಾಕು. ಇವ್ರು ಭಾಳ ಬುದ್ಧಿವಂತರು ಏನಾಗಿರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಬೀಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಒಂದು 5-6 ತಿಂಗಳಾದಮೇಲೆ, ಆಫ್ಟರ್ 5-6 months, ಡಸಂಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್ ಹೌ ಮಚ್ ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಟಿವ್ ದಿ ಅದರ್ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್, how much intelligent, brilliant, you can always beat that talent, by virtue of having lots of self-confidence, being focused on my own personality, trying to improve it. It is across disciplines, across sectors, you can actually do it. So this is something I haven't mentioned in most of my orientation. Because of this example, I would like to give an example from my own life. So I went to Davangere to do, to become member of parliament. ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಜನಕ್ಕೆ, some of you might be knowing it, right? So many people try to scare me, right? You don't have political background, right? No political capital, no godfather, ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ದುಡ್ಡಿಲ್ಲ, ರೈಟ್? ಅಲ್ಲಿರೋಷ್ಟು ಹಾಗೆ ಹೀಗೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು. ಸೊ 23 lakh people, you have to win the trust of nearly 18.5 lakh electorate. ಮೆಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಪಾರ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ 8 MLA ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ವೆರಿ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟ್ ಟಾಸ್ಕ್. The lesson which I just gave you, that is what I have been practicing in my life. Never look at the competitor, right? I never saw them, right? ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ದಾವಣಗೆರೆಗೆ ಹೋದೆ, ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಖಾಲಿ ಇತ್ತು, ರೈಟ್? ಎಲ್ಲ ಹಳ್ಳಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಸುತ್ತಾಡಿದೆ. ಐ ರೋಮ್ಡ್ ಅರೌಂಡ್ ವಿಲೇಜಸ್, ಐ ಮೆಟ್ ಪೀಪಲ್, ಐ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟೆಡ್ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ದಿಸ್ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ at the grassroots level. Basic thing, right? So when my focus is on the basic things, right, without worrying about the competitor, what they are thinking, what they are saying about me, right? When you have clarity that what exactly you want to do, that is the single minded focus. Ignore everything, just shut the noise around you, right? You know what to do it, right? So when in doubt, you ask people, the people whom you trust, the people who know better than you, right? And then continue with the journey. So you will make lots of progress, right? So here I have made lots of progress here. ಯಾರೋ ದಾವಣಗೆರೆಯಿಂದ ಬಂದಿದ್ರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರ್ತದೆ, I don't want to talk about it. But similarly in building this institution, maybe from zero to here, the same formula, right? ನಿಮ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಡೆಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗದಂಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲೇ ನಾವು ಬರಂಗೆ ಮಾಡಿರೋದು ಅಂತಂದರೆ, ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಬಿಲ್ಟ್ ದಿಸ್. ಈ ರೋಡಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೂ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ 7-8 years ago, ರೋಡ್ ಬಿಕೋ ಅಂತ ಇತ್ತು. ಸೊ ನೌ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಬಿಲ್ಟ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್. ಎವ್ರಿ ಲೆಸನ್ ಈಸ್ ಲರ್ನ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಿ UPSC ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬುಕ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ, ರೈಟ್? UPSC ಪ್ರಿಪರೇಷನ್ ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬುಕ್. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಅಪ್ಲೈಸ್ ವೆರಿ ವೆಲ್, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಯು ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಟ್ರಸ್ಟ್ ದಿ ಪ್ರಾಸೆಸ್, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಟ್ರಸ್ಟ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್. ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಇನ್ ಯುವರ್ ಫೇವರ್, ರೈಟ್? ಏನೋ ಡೌಟ್ಸ್ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಆಪ್ಷನಲ್ಲು ಮ್ಯಾಥ್ಸು, ಮೆಡಿಕಲ್ ಸೈನ್ಸು, ಲಾ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಈ ಫಿಸಿಕ್ಸು, ಕೆಮಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ, ಬಾಟ್ನಿ, ಜುವಾಲಜಿ ತಗೊಳಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಡಿ, ರೈಟ್? ಇಫ್ ಯು ರಿಯಲಿ ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಗೋ ವಿತ್ ದೀಸ್ ಆಪ್ಷನಲ್, ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಕಮ್ ಇಯರ್ ಬೈ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟಿಂಗ್ ದೆಮ್. ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಮುಗಿದೋಗಿದ್ರೆ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡಿ. ಲಾ 5 years ಭಾಳ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಓದಿದ್ದೀರಿ, ಯು ಆರ್ ಬ್ರಿಲಿಯಂಟ್ ಇನ್ ಲಾ, ದೆನ್ ಟೇಕ್ ದಿ ಲಾ ಆಪ್ಷನಲ್. ಮೆಡಿಕಲ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ 5 ವರ್ಷ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಓದಿದ್ದೀರಿ, ಮೆಡಿಕಲ್ ಸೈನ್ಸು ಎಲ್ಲ ಮುಗಿಸ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ಸು, ದೆನ್ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ. ಅದರ್ವೈಸ್ ಯುವರ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಟೈಮ್ ಈಸ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಸ್ಪೆಂಟ್ ಆನ್ ದೀಸ್ ಆಪ್ಷನಲ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಲೆಸ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ವಿ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ದಿ ಎಂಟೈರ್ ಸೆಷನ್. GS, ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಕರಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ಸ್, ನಾವೆಲ್ಸ್, ಅದು ಇದು ಟೈಮ್ ಇರಲ್ಲ ನಿಮಗೆ ಈ ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕಲ್ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನಲ್ ಆಪ್ಷನಲ್ಸ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದು 250. GSಗೆ 0 ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್, ರೈಟ್? ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇಂಟರ್ನಲ್ ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಏನು ಕೇಳಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಇರಲ್ಲ ಅದರದ್ದು, ಅನ್ಲೆಸ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ಯಾರಲಲಿ ಫಾರ್ ಸಮ್ PG ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್, ರೈಟ್? ಬೇಡ. ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ಗ್ರಾಜ್ಯುಯೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, ಇಫ್ ಯು ಡನ್ ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ಗ್ರಾಜ್ಯುಯೇಷನ್, ದೆನ್ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಅಗ್ರಿಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅದರ್ ಸಚ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಪ್ಷನಲ್ಸ್, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಬಯಾಲಜಿ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಆಂಥ್ರೋಪಾಲಜಿ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಪೊಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್, ಸೋಷಿಯಾಲಜಿ, ಆಂಥ್ರೋಪಾಲಜಿ, ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಎವರ್ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಆಪ್ಷನಲ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಸಮ್ ರೀಸನ್, right? Have been performing consistently well, right? And we see some people doing well in public administration, geography, rarely in history and philosophy also, but somebody who has done masters or done graduation from the best of the colleges, right? Or if at all it is philosophy, not in first attempt, but it takes lots of attempts to reach interview when the optional is highly subjective, right? More objective optional ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ success ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Literature is one of the best optionals. Kannada, right? That is also rewarding optional. Andre the kind of the for the amount of time you put, the returns are very high in Kannada optional or any literature optional. So this is about optional for you people. So first 3 to 4 months focus on the GS, right? Newspapers. Don't immediately take the optional. Somewhere in the month of June, July, go for optional. By December, complete the optional. By then, with every subject. So here at Insight Science, we complete one subject and then move to another subject. So every day answer writing, weekly test. After completion of subject, there is full length test, right? So this process we continue. We for example for batch till batch 6, we completed all core subjects by end of December for last year. Similarly for you people also, we'll ensure that by December all important the core except barring few mains syllabus, we'll complete everything so that your prelims ready as well as mains ready from all GS and SA papers. Optional, it is up to you, how you balance, how you manage the optional subject. So wonderful decision that you have made, that coming to the first batch. So anybody who keeps coming till June, July, right, you have a realistic chance of cracking 27 examination. And 26, don't give the attempt. But if you're tempted to give the attempt, if you're science and engineering graduate, apply only for Indian Forest Service. Only Indian Forest Service, attempt the examination. You can save your civil service attempt. 27 civil service attempt is going to be still first attempt. But for the experience sake, only put in the application only forest service and give the attempt if you want to go and want to know, uh, have the experience of giving real examination, right? But humanities ಮಾಡೋರಿಗೆ ಅದು ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅದು. So these are the broad things. ಏನಾದ್ರು ಡೌಟ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಕೇಳಿ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಮೈಕ್ ಇಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಏನಿಲ್ವಾ, ಎಲ್ಲ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀರಿ. ನೋ ಡೌಟ್ಸ್. ಈ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಕ್ರ್ಯಾಕ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಾ? ಹೌ ಟು ಕ್ರ್ಯಾಕ್ ದಿಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್ ಯಾರು ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಿ? ಹೂ ವಿಲ್ ಸಮ್ ಅಪ್ ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ಐ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ಡ್? ನಾನು ಈ ಸೆಷನಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸೀಕ್ರೆಟ್ ಬಿಟ್ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೋ ಹೌ ಮೆನಿ ಆಫ್ ಯು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟುಡ್. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ ನಿಮ್ಗದು? ವೆರಿ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟ್, ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್ಲಿ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟ್. ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದಷ್ಟು ಈಸಿ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಟೋಟಲಿ ಡೆಡಿಕೇಟ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿಸ್. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಎ ನ್ಯೂ ಫೇಸ್ ಇನ್ ಯುವರ್ ಲೈಫ್. ಅನ್ಲೈಕ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಡನ್ ಸೋ ಫಾರ್, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಎ ನ್ಯೂ ಫೇಸ್. ಸಡನ್ ಆಗಿ ಶಶಿ ತರೂರ್ ಬುಕ್ ಓದಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಒಟ್ಟು ಬರ್ತದೆ ನಿಮಗೆ, ರೈಟ್? ಬಟ್ ಓದ್ಬೇಕು ಅದನ್ನ, ಓದ್ ನೋಡಿ, ಸಿ ದ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಯುವರ್ ಥಿಂಕಿಂಗ್, ರೈಟ್? ಇಟ್ ಆಡ್ಸ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಯುವರ್ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆನ್ಸ್, ರೈಟ್? ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಯು ಬಿಲ್ಡ್ ಇಟ್ by making right choices, by developing right habits. You build that confidence. YouTube video ನೋಡಿ ಬರಲ್ಲ ಅದು, ಅಥವಾ ಆಟಮಿಕ್ ಹ್ಯಾಬಿಟ್ಸ್ ಓದಿ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಬುಕ್ ಓದಿ ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅದನ್ನ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಟಮಿಕ್ ಹ್ಯಾಬಿಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಚಿಕ್ಕದನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗೋದು, ಕನ್ಸಿಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗೋದು, ರೈಟ್? ಅಂಡ್ ಈಗ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ರೈಟಿಂಗ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಯಿತು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಬಿಗಿನಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಓನ್ಲಿ ರೈಟ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್, ಟ್ರೈ ಟು ರೈಟ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್, ಆರ್ ಟ್ರೈ ಟು ರೈಟ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ skeleton of the answer, or try to write only random facts that you can recollect, if not the entire answer. Start with something, right? So similarly, essay, you don't have to write 1200 word essay when you write your first essay. It can be only 300-400 words essay. Anything that occurs to your mind, anything that comes to your mind, just write. It is easy to build an essay. Again, essay is also a building exercise, right? Using your imagination, using your experience, right? So now, why we fail? Like when you want to write an essay, we have grown up in a very predictable environment. right? The education system was so predictable. You knew that what to recall, from where to recall the source, and repeat it here, right? So that is why people struggle. You just have to open your mind, come out of that conformity, come out of that boundary, and just imagination, so then you can actually write a really good essay. Hmm. So, like after 2 to 3 weeks, if you want to further remember, further revise, the best idea is to do the reverse engineering. So go with the PYQs, right? So question to concept approach. What I meant is that you have read concepts, right? You have forgotten the concept after like 2 months, after 2 weeks, right? So instead of again reading the concept, you will again forget it after like another 1 month. So my suggestion is to start practicing them, start solving any questions related to that concept. So gather all the questions. So try to apply concept based on your rudimentary understanding, whatever you still remember, right? And then from question you again read the concept, right? Keep repeating this process with new kind of questions again and again. When a concept is applied from different dimensions, right, then only in its all its comprehensiveness you will understand the concept. Merely reading concept just for the definition sake again and again, right? Because without context, without applying it, without linking it with something real, right, you will never remember any concept, right? Hmm.
Studying classes, the first subject may be geography. They started teaching now, but on the other hand, parallelly, can we learn different subjects like history or geography other than the
See, out of curiosity, definitely read them. But as I said in the course of the orientation, it is better to devote good amount of time in developing correct understanding of the subject. Like if you are learning geography, comprehensively complete geography with correct understanding. Don't try to add another subject, right? Don't delay. It actually takes lots of time than 30-40 days to master geography. So any extra time you have, newspaper is must every day. 1 to 2 hour newspaper is must, and maybe few minutes of CSAT. As I said, half an hour to 1 hour for hobbies, reading and writing. Remaining time, try to master the subject instead of adding another subject. But out of curiosity, you can just read, glance, through the other subject, but don't study them. Okay. ಚಾಕ್ಲೇಟ್ ತಂದಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ತರೋದು ಕೇಳಪ್ಪ. ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬ್ಯಾಚಿಗೆ OGP. ಅದು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾಚಿಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ವಿ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಈ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಬ್ಯಾಚರ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದು ಗಲಾಟೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರಂತಂದು ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಬ್ಯಾಚಿಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ವಿ. ಯಾವಾಗಿದು 2016-17 ಸುಮಾರು ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಒಂದು 8 ವರ್ಷ ಆಯಿತು. 8 ವರ್ಷನೂ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬ್ಯಾಚಿಗೂ ಈ ಕ್ಯಾಡ್ಬರಿ ಕೊಡ್ತಿದ್ವಿ. ಇತ್ತೀಚೆಗೆ ಇವ್ರು ಯಾಕೆ ಕಿಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾಟ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಏನು ರೇಟ್ ಕಡಿಮೆನೋ ಏನೋ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ನೀವು ಬೇರೆ ಯಾರೋ ಫುಲ್ ಫೀಸ್ ಬೇರೆ ಪೇ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. ಬಡವ್ರ ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನ ಬೆಳೆಸ್ರಪ್ಪ. See, at very affordable coaching, you are actually getting lot here at Insight Series. ನಾನು 17 ಎಷ್ಟು ಫೀಸ್ ಇತ್ತು, ಇವಾಗಲೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಇದೆ. 2017 ಫಸ್ಟ್ OGPನಲ್ಲಿ 94,500 ಫೀಸ್ ಇದ್ದಿತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮದು. ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀವಿ 1,24,00,000 ಅಂತ. ಒಬ್ಬರು ಪೇ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ ಫುಲ್ ಫೀಸ್. ಒಬ್ಬರು ಪೇ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. ಸಾರ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕೌಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ನಾವು ಹೋಗ್ಲಿ ಈ ಬೇರೆ ಬಿಳಿ ಅಂಗಿ ಬೇರೆ ಹಾಕೊಂಡು ಓಡ್ತಿದೀವ, ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಅವು ಬೈದ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಅಂತಂದ. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕಂತಂದಲ್ಲ, ಮುಂಚೆಯಿಂದನೂ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಈ ಪಾಲಿಟಿಕ್ಸಿಗೆ ಬರೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆಯಿಂದನೂ ವಿ ಬೀನ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಟ್. ಏನೋ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಿಂದ ಒಂದು 100 ಜನ ರ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಬರಲಿ ಅಂತ ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ವೆನ್ ಯು ಗೋ ಟು ಡೆಲ್ಲಿ, ಯು ಡೋಂಟ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಟು ಮೀಟ್ ಆಫೀಸರ್ಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ. ಭಾಳ ಕಡಿಮೆ. we don't have officers from Karnataka. So when we don't have good number of officers from Karnataka in Delhi, so it is difficult to get things done for Karnataka. Any big developmental projects, politicians alone cannot do that. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮುಂದೊಂದು ದಿನ ನಾವು ಪಾಲಿಟಿಕ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಳೆದಾಗ ಡೆಲ್ಲಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಭಾಳ ಜನ ಇರಲಿ ಅಂತ ದೊಡ್ಡ ದೊಡ್ಡವು ಏನಾರು ಮಾಡೋಣ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತ. ಎಲ್ಲ ಸೆಲ್ಫಿಶ್. ನಮಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಕರ್ನಾಟಕಕ್ಕೆ ಏನಾರು, ಸ್ಟೇಟಿಗೆ ಏನಾರು ಮಾಡೋಣ ಅಂತ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅನದರ್ ವಿತ್ ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಟು ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್, ವಾಟ್ ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಇಸ್ ದಟ್ ಸಿವಿಲ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಟ್ಸ್. ಕನ್ನಡ ಉಳಿಯೋದಕ್ಕೆ UPSC ಲೈಕ್ ಸಿವಿಲ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ಸ್, ರೈಟ್? ನೀವು ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರು ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ರಾಜ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋದಾಗ, ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ದೇಶಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋದಾಗ, ಡೆಲ್ಲಿಲಿ ಹೋದಾಗ ಕನ್ನಡ ಸಂಘ ಅಂತ ಇದೆ. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟಿವ್, ವೆರಿ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಕನ್ನಡ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀರಿ, ಕನ್ನಡ ಬೆಳೆಸ್ತೀರಿ. ಕನ್ನಡ ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯ ಆಪ್ಷನಲ್, ಅದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯ ಓದ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ಜನ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಆಪ್ಷನಲ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತಂದು, ರೈಟ್? ನೀವು ಎಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಓದಿರೋ ನೀವು ಯಾಕೆ ಓದ್ಬೇಕು ಅದನ್ನು,
ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಆ ರೀಸನ್ನು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಕನ್ನಡದ ಮೇಲೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಕಳಕಳಿ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ವೆನ್ ಯು ರೀಚ್ ದೋಸ್ ಪೊಸಿಷನ್ಸ್, ಪವರ್ಫುಲ್ ಪೊಸಿಷನ್ಸ್, ಇಫ್ ಅಟ್ ಆಲ್ ಯು ಪರ್ಸೀವ್ ಎನಿ ಥ್ರೆಟ್ ಟು ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್, ರೈಟ್, ಬೈ ಈ ಒಂದು ಭಾಷೆಯಿಂದ ಬಂದಾಗ ನಿಮಗೆ ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಒಂದು ಕಳಕಳಿ ಇದ್ದೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ಆ ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ, ಆ ಪೊಸಿಷನಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋರು ನಮ್ಮ ಭಾಷೆರಲ್ಲ. ಸೇಮ್ ಫಾರ್ ತಮಿಳ್, ಸೇಮ್ ಫಾರ್ ತೆಲುಗು, ಸೇಮ್ ಫಾರ್ ಅವ್ರ ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟಲ್ಲಿ. ಬಟ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಈಸ್ ಲ್ಯಾಗಿಂಗ್ ಬಿಹೈಂಡ್. ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಆಸ್ಪಿರೇಷನ್ನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಆಂಬಿಷನ್ನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನೀವೆಲ್ಲೋ ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೋ ಹೌ ಇಟ್ ಕೇಮ್ ಟು ಯುವರ್ ಮೈಂಡ್. ಮೆಜಾರಿಟಿ ಪೀಪಲ್ಗೆ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಜಾಬ್ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಸಾಕು ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಯು ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಟ್. ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಜಾಬ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕರೆ ಸಾಕು ಅಂತಂದು.
Attempt all the other examination. Another advice, attempt every examination. Apply ಈ ಗಾಂಚಲಿ ಬೇಡ, ರೈಟ್? ನಾನು IAS ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ಬರೀ UPSCಗೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಂತಂದು, ಆಯಿತಾ? ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಫಾರ್ UPSC, ಬಟ್ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಆಲ್ ಅದರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್. ಪಾಸ್ ಆದರೆ ವಿಲೇಜ್ ಅಕೌಂಟೆಂಟ್ ಪಾಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆಗಬೇಡಿ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಗಾಂಚಲಿ ತೋರಿಸಿ, ಆಯಿತಾ? PSI ಪಾಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆಗಬೇಡಿ. ಸೈಲೆನ್ಸ್. ಇವಾಗ ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ ಹುಡುಗರು, ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಕುಣ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿ 30 ವರ್ಷ ಆದರೂ ನೀನು IPS ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು 3 ವರ್ಷ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಟೈಮ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ರೆ, ರೈಟ್, ಇಲ್ಲಿ IPS ಆಗ್ಬಿಡ್ಬೋದಲ್ಲ. ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಸಿಕ್ತು ಅಂತ ಸೆಟ್ಲ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ದಟ್ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಸೆಟ್. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಐ ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ ದಿ ವೆರಿ ಬಿಗಿನಿಂಗ್. ಈ ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಜಾಬ್ ತುಂಬ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಇರಬೇಕು, ದೊಡ್ಡದಾಗಿ ಏನಾರು ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತಂದು ಲೈಫಲ್ಲಿ, ರೈಟ್? And I have seen that after 3-4 years, people crack Indian Forest Service, UPSC, NABARD, ಎಲ್ಲ 1 year ಕ್ರ್ಯಾಕ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. UPSCಗೆ ಫೋಕಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ you will eventually develop that capacity to crack all the other examinations, right? ಸೇಂಟ್ ಜೋಸೆಫ್ ಯಾರು ಇದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಸೇಂಟ್ ಜೋಸೆಫ್ ಯಾರಿಲ್ಲ? ಕ್ರೈಸ್ಟ್ ಇವಾಗ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ PUC ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದ. ಓಕೆ, ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಕೇಳೋದು, ಈಗ ಸೇಂಟ್ ಜೋಸೆಫ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು, ಎಷ್ಟು ದೂರ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳೋಣ ಅಂತಂದು. ಒಬ್ಬರು ಇಲ್ಲ, ರೈಟ್? 10 ಕಿಲೋಮೀಟ್ರಾ? ಆಯ್ತು. ಸೊ ಒಳ್ಳೇದಾಗಲಿ. ಸೊ ಆಲ್ ದ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಹೋಪ್ ಟು ಸಿ ಯು ವಿಸಿಬಲ್. ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಏನು ಮುಖ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಲ್ಲ, ರೆಗ್ಯುಲರ್ ಬಂದು ಮೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ನಾವು ಅಲ್ಪ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ. ಬಂದು ಕೇಳಿ ನಮ್ಮನ್ನು, ಏನಾರ ಡೌಟ್ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂದರೆ. ಆಲ್ ಅವರ್ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಅವರು ಕೂಡ ಅಲ್ಪ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಆಯಿತಾ? ನಿಮ್ದೇನೋ ಚಾಟ್ GPT ಸಿಕ್ತು, ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಸಿಕ್ತು ಅಂತ ನಮ್ಮನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಮರಿಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟು. ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು, ಆಲ್ ದ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್.